Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Wait, are we recording? Oh. Hey guys, it's Justin here again with another Photoshop tutorial, which is actually going to be a Lightroom 5 tutorial this time around. A lot of people have been asking me recently how one might go about achieving that sort of desaturated, vintage, ethereal, sort of contrasty look that's really popular with wedding and portrait photographers nowadays. So I figured I'd show you the method that I use in Lightroom. Now the same effect can be achieved in Photoshop as well, but it is a little bit more complicated. It's not really a beginner video. So I figured I'd show you guys the Lightroom method. It's a little bit easier, quicker to pick up, and much easier to apply to all different types of photos. Now aside from the standard edits to exposure, highlights, shadows, and sharpening that we normally do, we're mainly going to be working in our split toning section and our tone curve. Now, as I've said before, a lot of you probably have your own methods of how you achieve the same effect, something that you used before, something that you're comfortable with. That's fine. Keep using that method. This is mainly my method. I think it's really quick and easy for beginners and is mainly for people who have never attempted something like this before. So without further ado, let's get started. First off, we're going to find a photo that we want to apply this effect to. So yeah, I think we're going to do this one. Okay, let's full screen that real quick. Alright, so this was a photo I took quite a few years back. I was in Texas, actually, at the Lyndon B. Johnson Ranch. It was a really sunny day. The photo, as you see it right here, is pretty much how it came straight out of camera. The only thing I've added is I've enhanced the light source of the sun by rendering this little sun flare up that you see in the top right. Now I did that in Photoshop. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make another video. I can show you guys how to simply render those light flares convincingly in Photoshop as well. But the first stop on the way to achieving the look that we want is we're going to take our exposure and bump that up almost a full stop, probably right about there. Now what you're saying is that's crazy bright. Why is it that bright? It looks horrible. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our highlights and bring them down probably till about -50. I'm going to do the same thing with the whites actually, down to about -50. What that does is sort of just lowers the intensity of that spectrum of the histogram. Takes down your highlights, takes down your whites, takes off that harshness of the photo just a little bit. Next thing we're going to do is going to bring up our blacks and our shadows just a little bit, about 20, 25 each. Next thing I like to do is take our clarity down a little bit, take away a little bit of the grittiness of the photo, again add to that fantastical sort of whimsical look. Same thing with the vibrance, same reason. Alright, next thing we want to do is we want to mess with our tone curve over here. Our tone curve is where we're going to sort of, really bring up the lower range of our photo and make it look a little bit more like we want it to. So we're going to make sure we're in our point curve section here. You want to click on pretty much somewhere right in the lower left quarter of your tone curve here and create an anchor point just like that. Next you're going to bring up your base anchor point on all the way in the bottom left of your curve and try to bring it up towards that anchor point that you just created. Now you see the difference in the photo. It basically just destroys the blacks in your photo and really creates that sort of desaturated ethereal look that we're going for here. Alright, so let's leave that right there. You should have a resulting tone curve that looks somewhat like that. And our next stop is split toning. You know what, this is actually where we're going to be able to add those cool set of tones to the photo, make it look a little bit moody depending on the feel that you want from it. But you know what, let's come back to split toning. I'm actually going to skip over to sharpening and all these other little things that we're going to do quick. So I like to sharpen a photo just a little bit. We're just going to go right around 60, bring our radius up a little bit, detail down. Now, noise reduction, depending on the ISO that you took your photo at. I think this was at ISO 100, which is great. If you took it at a higher ISO, you might start noticing a little graininess start to appear, so bump your noise reduction up to about 15 or 20. And last thing before we get the tone curve, I usually like to add a little bit of post-crop vignetting in there. That adds a little darkness to the photo, adds that to that sort of cinematic feel. Darkness to the edge. Maybe feather it just a little bit more. There you go. Alright, so let's go back up to tone curve. Now, what tone curve is, or I mean split toning actually, sorry. What the split toning is it's actually going to add a tone to both the highlights and the shadows of your photo, depending on which tones you choose. So, for example, if we click on our highlights tone here, and we click on, say, this little gold preset here, what it's going to do is add a very warm, sort of orange, goldish sort of hue to all of the highlights in our photo. And because we brought up the exposure initially, that's going to cover a large range of our photo, which is good for this situation. Let's go to the shadows as well, and for this one, let's choose a much cooler tone. And basically that's going to add it to all these shadows in the photo, which are not really present because of the way we've edited the point curve and the way we brought up our blacks and shadows earlier on. And now you can edit these if you feel the blue is a little bit too strong. You can go down to the saturation slider for the shadows here, bring that down a little bit. If you feel the orange is too strong, you can bring that down just a little bit in the same way. And sort of just mess around with this until you get the feel that you're looking for. And the balance bar, that pretty much just shifts the balance of tone from one end to the other, more blue or more gold. Alright, so when you're happy with that, you're almost done here. Basically, I like to make some final adjustments to contrast. If it seems a little light, I like to bring that up just a little bit. And then you're pretty much done. Look at that. If we bring up our before and after photo, you can see, let's see, and if we look and see, there's the original photo, and there's our finished product. Original photo, finished product. Alright guys, so that's basically it. Leave your comments and criticisms down below in the comment section, and let me know what you guys think. Other than that, mind your frame, and I'll see you guys all later.